Okay, so good morning, good evening, wherever you might be watching this. We record this, which is just for in case something interesting is said or you want to watch it later. But ideally, these work group sessions work best when you come in person and live. And so this is our second edition of week number 2. In week number 2, we're talking about building relationships. So week 1 was building relationships. Week 2 is building relationships. This one is more in person or just general. And then this particular week 2 talks about building relationships on the amazing relationship tool that was created years ago called Facebook. Facebook is all about relationships and friendships and making connections with people and in commonalities. And so we can tap into Facebook and utilize this amazing power to get to know people, to build relationships, to find common interests, and really to inspire many people and awaken them to what they can really have with our wellness program. So the progression that we're doing through the boot camp is the first week is all about building a list. The second week is about building relationships and making connections on Facebook. So we're assuming that as you're doing these things, relationships are going to start to strengthen, start to grow, you'll plant those. In the farming analogy, you'll be planting those seeds, and then those seeds are going to turn into plants, and then pretty soon there'll be a harvest. And so next week, we're going to be talking about setting up an appointment to actually do an interview with somebody. Because as you're connecting with them, they're going to figure out and find out what you do. And just about everybody you know has an opportunity that the trilogy could help with. Either healthy body, mind, or finances. Mind is more like relationship health, physical health, relational, emotional health, and then vocational, financial health. And almost everybody, well, there's never been anybody that I've ever met that's as healthy as they want to be in all 3 areas. Some of our top leaders are getting closer, but all of them will say, I know Dr. A would say no. Because if he was, what would that really mean? Think about it. So next week, we're going to be talking about doing interviews, unpacking, getting to know people personally, and sort of connecting the dots. And then we move into enrolling them as clients, because a certain percentage of those people will become clients. And then we move on to walking them through that first week. One of the things that I want to cover in today's training a little bit is, I want to kind of give you an idea of where we're going, like I just did. In some of the nuanced details, you're going to personalize and make your own. There's not one of you that is in this boot camp, quite frankly, in the world that is duplicatable. Nobody's going to duplicate you because you're unique, right? But what we can duplicate is a process of moving forward, a sequence, choreography. I talked to Tim Cox yesterday, and he said that if I give you a piece of sheet music and I said we're going to be in the key of C, that kind of gets us all kind of in a similar vein. And then as each musician plays that piece of music, it's going to sound different, even though it's all in the same key and it's the same song. But there's going to be nuanced differences. And it's the same thing here. So I want to encourage you that don't try to be me. Don't try to be Troy, as handsome as he is. What you want to do is be you.
Definitely don't try to be Troy. That's not good.
You can try, you just won't, right? You'll fail. So anyway, I just want to give you guys the perspective that as you're learning these skill sets and you're learning how to walk people through this process, understand the flow of what we're doing, and then personalize things, make it your own, that kind of thing. So anyhow, that's the idea today. And so So next week we're going to be talking about the well-being evaluation, which has been around for quite a while. It's a scale of 1 to 10 in those 3 areas, the trilogy wheel. And then there's also a new health assessment that has been revised a couple of times that Optavia has released now. And I put it in the chat window, and I will link it to the our Facebook group as well. It'll be in the archives. And since I just said I was going to do something, one of my workflow items is to write it down. Whenever I hear myself saying, I'm going to do this, I need to write it down because I'm going to forget it in about 4 seconds. Post HA to FB group. Okay, and so I'm curious today as we're getting started, we're going to do a couple of mini blitzes where we take actions for 5 minutes. We do this thing, come back, do this thing, come back. But I'm curious, and I would like to, bring on Troy if he's got something to add to this, but I also want to have you guys queue up your questions and your comments on how the Facebook 3x3 campaign is working. And then lastly is if you guys can share your video. I want to do that because I miss the connection when I just see the your face in a still form. Anyway, over to you, Troy. Good morning.
Good morning. You probably can't see me very well, I'm guessing.
I can see you. You're beautiful, by the way.
The sun's hitting it. But, as we kind of talk about, and, a couple different points that you kind of hit was that, as we look at the well-being evaluation, which we've been using for a while, but then we have the health assessment that's kind of come in and is revised and a lot better. Craig was kind of mentioning at the beginning of this Zoom that we've been doing, is that take your pick on which one works better, because I think in reality it's a lot of us, we did come in and we wanted to create health, so the health assessment would be a good spot to go. But if you're talking with somebody that their health is right on, then the well-being is going to be a better way. So I think it's just of who you're talking with. Am I right on that, Craig?
I think it's true. Well, I think that you can use both of them. What if you started with the health assessment, and then at the 1 month mark, you decided to, when they were wanting more, you said, hey, let's do a current reality, and let's do the well-being assessment to assess their growing well-being, right? The main point to all this is that you have current reality, you have where they would like to be, and then you have a way to track them, right? So having a piece of paper with information written down is the main point. Overall, what we're saying is don't try to keep it all in your head, because it'll spill out. During the hurricane, there was some people that, a couple coaches that I spoke to, and when they were evacuating their house, this is crazy. They took their client tracking forms and put them with their most valuable items and took them with them, because they were saying, if I were to lose these are real people and real people's lives, and I've been writing things down, and I know these people, and for me to lose this piece of information would be devastating. And then another person put their health coach kit in their dishwasher just in case there was flooding. So if you think about these kinds of things, that's what these pieces of paper really are, is they're people's lives. And so making sure that you're tracking stuff in some sort of a tracking system is going to be critical for the relationship. You don't have to, it's not like you're tracking tons of info, but it's really nice in a personal touch when someone says, my son is sick this week, that you write that down, and the next week, how's your son doing? That's just really, really great. So, it would make me feel special if somebody said that too. So if I said I'm having a bad hair day, if they asked me that next week, how's your hair doing? So curious, as we're working through comments and feedback on your relationships. How's the 3x3x3 working? How are you doing with these relationships? You can queue up and raise your hand if there's more than one of you, but the first one can just speak. Okay. So we'll see you guys later. Bye. Come on.
Great. No, hey, talking about the 3x3, one thing is that I think a lot of coaches get overwhelmed, as in they look at and they go, man, that seems like a lot. But then if they really start doing the work, you've heard this from me quite a few times, but you push through the pain, right? It's not always to where it's going to just feel all warm and fuzzy, because you got out of your comfort zone because you maybe possibly when you started this wanted to create health, right? So as we look at people doing the 3x3, is that an action step you are taking every other day, maybe, and maybe starting smaller, because maybe it's too much every day, right? So I think there's a happy medium to everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. And so we've got a couple people. The first person is Jacqueline. Let me unmute you. There you are. Go ahead, Jacqueline. Hi.
Hi, I'm at Starbucks, so I hear music. But it's scary to. I like a lot of random people, like friends of friends, to people I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
and so I have like a lot of friends, and then it's scary from there.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I know them, then I don't know how to keep the conversation going. It's like, yeah, happy birthday, and what are you doing for your birthday? I like that one. And then, what are you doing? I'm dancing. It's like, okay, great, have a good time. And then I don't know what else to say.
Well, imagine if you were pretend like you weren't trying, and I listen to my words here. Pretend as if you weren't trying to help anybody. You were just trying to connect. Because if you don't start there, it's going to be weird. And so if I just said, if you called me on the phone and I said, "Yeah, I'm dancing," what would be a natural question if you're going to ask a question? What would be a couple ideas you could say if I said I was dancing?
So where are you going?
Yeah.
Who are you going with? These are not people that are like, I act like I'm your best friend, but it's not like she's someone I talk to every day.
What if you asked me, what are you dancing to?
Okay.
Wouldn't that seem obvious? Maybe interesting. If you were curious, so if you look at trying to be curious about me, and right. I just told you I'm dancing, what are a couple of things that you could ask questions to interact with?
So, hey, well, I always go to me. I love dancing. What kind of music are you going to dance to, or where are you going? I think I asked her, where are you going to dance? And I don't think she answered me. But I asked her, where are you going?
And what kind of dancing do you do?
Okay, what kind of dancing do you do? That would be a good one.
That seems, I don't know. When she says I'm dancing, in my mind, I visualize someone in their living room just sort of dancing to music.
Yeah.
But you visualize someone going to some place to dance.
Right.
Maybe somebody else thought about ballroom dancing. Maybe they're going to Arthur Murray and they're going to dance practice. Right?
Right.
I don't know the answer to that. So so thinking about how can I be curious? What kind of music do you like to dance to? That's another thing. But focusing on trying to be truly curious is a muscle you develop. It's oftentimes not just there, because we are generally, as human beings, the muscles that are developed are about me. I'm thinking about me today.
Right.
It's just the way it goes.
All about me.
Yeah, it's all about me, right? And so think about, well, how can I be curious, or can I be curious? And if I was, what kind of question I would ask? How long have you been dancing? Do you do any other hobbies? Is this a hobby, or do you do it for exercise? Now, there's a way to relate to health.
Yeah, that's a good one.
She might say, "Oh, I do Zumba." Well, how long have you been doing that? There's another question. But you'll work on these if your motivation and desire is to be curious. The questions will come, I think. Otherwise, people wouldn't like you in real life. You are curious. You do talk about things. You do ask people questions, right? I know you
Right.
do. You
So,
have to.
right. So what about someone who you don't, I know you told us how to do it, but it's like a total random person. I think this one guy, I'm just thinking, okay, let me see if I can start a conversation with a guy who owns his own smoke, what do you call it, rib house. So I was going to say,
Rib house.
hey, yeah, like, ribs, like,
Are you curious about anything to do with smoking ribs?
yeah.
Okay, ask them those questions,
Okay.
right? Meaning,
So don't say anything about, like, I know you don't know me, but
well, I don't know. You might start there, but I don't know. Just hey, how long have you been smoking? Or tell me a little bit about. Do you have a secret sauce, or what kind of meat you use, or what kind of smoke do you use, or what makes your ribs better than anybody else's? I don't know. So, all right, Rita, you're up next. I'll unmute you.
Well, I said earlier, I said on Saturday, I got to looking when you had us go through, and I realized I don't have a lot of warm relationships. I make comments and stuff like that, but it's to develop that a little stronger. That can be overwhelming. But if I only do a couple a day, but I need to do it daily, or I lose the momentum. Even if it's one a day, it's something every day, or I just will sit and stare at it and do nothing.
Thank you, Rita. That's really, really profound. Seriously, it's very simple and plain, but extremely profound because everything you just said was absolutely true.
Well, and I thought, I have a lot. I have a lot in my head. I don't have a lot actually, warm enough. So we think we have, but when we really look at the black and white of it, we don't, and I can't be a Becca Tinter overnight. Hello.
Well, nobody can be a Becca Tinter because there's only one of them, right?
But I mean, as far as connecting like that, you just have to start with one, and that's it.
That's exactly it. Good job, Rita. Next, we have Andrea Allen. I'll unmute you. Hi, Andrea.
Hey. So here's my tendency. I get all excited I go through, I try to make 30 friends in a day and think, oh, good, I'm good for the month. Although that is not, I'm really good at that. I don't have a problem with it. It's not hard for me. What is hard for me is daily. And it shouldn't be. It's not that hard. Again, it only takes 5 minutes. But I really appreciate the calendar. I like the calendar because that gives me something visually to see. Well, you did it this day. Well, you didn't do it this day.
These are all those things that are building new muscles. When you go into a gym, you can't do all your workouts for the month in one session. You just do today's workouts.
Right.
Tomorrow you get tomorrow's workouts, but you're building new muscles. I will tell you over time, as you're lifting weights, the weights are going to become heavier and you're going to be doing more and more advanced exercises because you're going to be getting stronger, right? And if you have to start with just one new friend a week, then build it up to 2. Eventually you can get up to 3 per day, but we don't want to do 5 per day because then it ends up being too many relationships to manage, and so we don't manage them well.
Yeah.
Right? Or we're spending all of our time on Facebook and we're not actually really talking to people. Or we're not doing well-being assessments because I'm too busy making new friends on Facebook. Right? So there's a balance there of that. But when you're building new muscles, it takes time, and relationships you have relationship muscles. So you're building those. Troy, did you have something?
Yeah, small bites at a time. And what's interesting is that, even myself, a lot of things that I want to do all at once. It can be overwhelming. So how about, if you're doing 30 friends in one day, how about if you do 3 friends a day for 10 days and it's more manageable? Then you feel like, okay, hey, it's not so overwhelming, and you can connect with those people. Because in reality, if you just make friends, or if you friend a person, that really doesn't mean anything. What means something is you're starting a relationship. And that's what I think a lot of people, just like a couple, I can't remember what we just they were saying, you know, hey, I want to, you know, I've got, oh, sort of, but I'm not with the gal with the she's Starbucks, and you know, she's got these people that I kind of know or somewhat know, but I want to know them better. How do I start the conversation? And it's like, you want to come in and you want to just talk with people. How about if you weren't a coach? You know, how about if you just would you go up to people and just start talking to people? Like, you know, myself, I'll start talking to them just because that's me. That's my personality. That's not you guys. That's not everybody else. So really thinking about the kind of things that you want to create and who you want to bring in your health coaching business, because you don't want to bring everybody, right? You're being selective in who you want to work with.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Troy. I paused your video because you're getting a little sketchy, but I want to show you guys. So take a minute and bring your focus back here for a second. I want to show you on the health coach page, our boot camp health coach page. So I'm going to put the link to this in the chat. And if you're not part of this group, you're missing out. So if you're not part of the group, in the chat window, you can click that link and you can request to be added to the group. That's the first one, okay? So I'm just gonna take a second. While you guys done that, go to the chat right now and click on the Facebook group there. It'll take you to this group, this Facebook group, and then click on join or ask to be joined.
I already am.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you are or not, but there's 4 new people that just asked to be added here. So, and then at the very top here, you see this thing called archives. It's got all these brown boxes. Looks like an archive of information. You click that, it's going to have week 1's boot camp plus the Saturday and the Tuesday session. And then week 2 is the boot camp plus the Saturday session. And then Tuesday morning, there's no link there yet because we're recording it right now. It'll be there in a little bit. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to paste the health assessment to Facebook. So I'm going to put at the top here, other links. And then and guess what's going to go there when I get that, actually I have it right here. Copy, paste, boom. Now I'll save this and so I'm not going to finish this all right now, but it'll be there shortly. And so then you can go and look at the previous recordings, watch those over again, and then and also be part of the discussion. I really, really like the interaction too. When you've done something, go to that Facebook group. Let's pretend like, and I say pretend as a silly way, let's pretend like we actually want to make each other better and we want to talk about things that we're stuck with. Like, let's say that one of you is doing an exercise and you're stuck. I want you to yell to the group, hey, can someone spot me here? That's what you do. Go on the Facebook page. I'm stuck with doing this. I have a concept in my head. Can anyone help me? Or I just made 3 new friends. Oh my goodness. Right? Or I just asked the question that went really well. So all of this kind of activity, if it pertains to this boot camp, go to there regularly and post something that you're doing. Post the success you have. I just had a new relationship develop. I just did this. Whatever it might be, but post challenges you have because we're your spotters, and post successes have because we're growing too, and you can encourage us. Right? This is how community works. And if you don't communicate in the community, there's no community. Right? Pat, I'll unmute you. Go ahead, Pat.
Oh, hi. No, I just wanted to thank you both for sharing your golden nuggets with us. I have, since the boot camp started, I have been reaching out and trying to reconnect with people I've lost touch with over the last year. I retired a year ago and through a series of events, I haven't been able to do a whole lot with the business, but I'm following your advice. I really like the Facebook going out and seeing when people's birthdays are and checking that out and just kind of touching base. I've been able to touch base with people I haven't talked to in several months. And it's just been really great to hear back from them and make that connection again. So thank you for all that.
You're welcome. Thank you for taking action. Imagine you fast forward a couple months, and all of a sudden you're gonna have at least one new relationship that's warming up. You're becoming closer with. Imagine if we're friending 3 new people a day, and we only did it. What if we only did it 3 days a week? So that's 9, 4 times 9. That's almost 30 new friends.
Right. And I also went out and did the setting a schedule for a Facebook post. Now, everybody knows yesterday was 9/11, so I thought I could have sworn I put it for 9/12, but for somehow when I checked it this morning, it posted on my timeline yesterday at 11 a.m. So I'm not sure quite how that happened and how it posted into the past when I didn't set the schedule till last night around 9 p.m. So that was just an interesting, mistake on my part.
Well, when you're scheduling posts, that's a new feature. You can only schedule them in the past. You can't schedule future posts on your main profile page. If it's on a group or a like page or something like that, you can schedule them in the future. Double check that. I've triple checked it.
Now I'm confused. I'm really confused.
Yeah, well, scheduling, what are you just using the main Facebook, or are you using Hootsuite or something else?
No, I'm not using Hootsuite. I looked at Hootsuite, but then I just wanted to go see what Facebook would do on its own. And so you can't schedule something for a future date. It has to go in the past?
Well, that is correct. Let me show you. Let's see here. 2 submit. Okay, that's done. So let me go to my Facebook profile. I don't want to take too much more time on this, so we need to get into here. But yeah, if I go and post something here, and then let's see, it's not going to do it. It's not even giving me the option. Go to my main page here. If I want to post something here, there's this little thing that said, oh, the schedule thing seems like it's gone. I don't even see it there anymore.
Yeah, that's.
Well, there was a little thing there that did it, and but I don't even see it anymore. But it maybe they've updated it and it's gone for everybody. But the reality is that I tried to post it, and you could only post it in the past, which means if you, I don't know why that happens, but if you have a business page or a like page, you can set those to post in the future, but not in the past.
Okay, I'll check into one of the other options then.
So that's probably why it's in the past. But all right, so next step here we're going to do is Rita, you said, so this isn't the one in Coach Answers, it's the one in Simple Systems. You're talking about
the new assessment thing that you put up there. That's in Simple Systems. It's not in.
I got that through Terry Miller, and so I don't know where it's going to be. I know where I found it, and it's eventually going to be on all the systems, but I don't know.
It's not in Coach Answers, so but that's awesome.
Coach Answers is a little bit of lagging, and stuff from Terry Miller is generally pretty hot off the press.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. So what we're going to do here as we get started is let's take the first 5 minutes here, and we're going to hit our birthdays. And remember, when you're posting on a birthday, you can post just on the wall, and then you can personal message them as well. Question. And if you don't have any birthdays for today, well, it's David Miller's birthday today, so he'll get his Facebook page blown up. But you can, if you don't have any birthdays to celebrate, then go in and look at the friend requests, the things that Facebook suggests that you could be friends with so-and-so. And when you do that, you want to see why Facebook thinks you should be friends. If it's because you're related to other health coaches, you probably want to consider not adding on a bunch of health coaches as friends. But if it relates to somebody that's outside of health coaching, then friend them. So you're going to do birthdays and try to make 3 friend requests. We're gonna see what we can do in 5 minutes. All right. So let me get my countdown timer here going, and if you guys can mute yourself as well, that would be great. Otherwise, I'll mute you all. Somebody's typing fast. Go. All right. The fastest 5 minutes of your life just went by. Isn't it funny? Now, did you guys all get your birthdays in? Everybody get through the birthday lists? Yep. Now, one of the ways to go to birthdays really easily is to click on events and then birthdays, right? And for those of you that might have missed that, if you go, so if you're on your main Facebook page, you just go on the left-hand side down to events. And then up here you have calendar, birthdays, discover, past. By the way, in the future, that discover thing, something you're going to want to take a look at. But birthdays, and so it says you wrote on David's timeline. So all of these things now went to their timeline, right? So now here's one thing I did. I went down and I went, ooh, who's Karen Alexander? It doesn't look like she's a health coach. I'm not sure who she really is. So I clicked on message and it brought up a window here. And then I went down to this person here. Now she's with Candy Mitzel, and it looks like maybe that's Candy Mitzel. So she might be a health coach. So I moved on from her. Chad Robertson, I know I went to high school with him. And so I looked down Renee Sunday. I used to go to church with her. She worked with the last church, and so she's a very professional-looking, healthy woman. I click message. So I want to build a little bit of a relationship with different people in here. That I know, and definitely people that aren't health coaches. Now, this person's a health coach. I'm pretty certain of it. So I opened up these little posts here at the bottom, and I'm going to message these guys directly, not just put something on their wall. So, and then somebody just replied back to me. Angie Michelle Martinez just says, thanks, Craig. Nothing special, just another day. Maybe this weekend I'll get Anthony to break away from school and we can go out. Thanks again. So then I might want to say something. One is, I don't know, when was the last time you were out, or are you looking to get anything special? Because I can keep this conversation going. I probably want to go figure out who this person is. And she's definitely a health coach. Yeah, I recognize her face, right? And if I look at other people that we have in common, Rick Green, Laurie Anderson, Rod Purdy, she's definitely a health coach. So I may choose to not spend a lot of time right now conversing with her, because she is a health coach, and I think she's been on these boot camps before too. So yeah, so there you go. But that's real time looking at what's actually happening. So. All right, you guys. So the next one, yes, they're enough to be a coach. Yeah. So next thing we want to is maybe go find a post. And so those of you, have any of you set up a private Facebook group that's just for you to store posts into? Yeah, so that's something, if you're going to be making 3 posts a day, and where are you going to find those posts? If you don't do a little bit of pre-work, you're going to go, oh, I need to post. What should I post? Okay, hey, everybody, hope you're having a great day. And that'll be your post, right? And so what I've done, and I'll show it to you, is I've created, this was not my idea, by the way, but I created a group called Future Posts for Reels. Okay, and like today, this is the thing that David Bush posted today. David Bush is a machine when it comes to posting every day. It says, what meal did your family serve when you were a kid that absolutely hated and you've never eaten since you've grown up, right? And so if I click on this actual link, it's going to give me a little, this is what he posted. Growing up, there wasn't much I didn't eat, which led me to, so he's, in his comment, he's putting a little something about how he used to be very overweight. And then he answers the question. And then he asks at the very end, what's yours? So now I have this stored in my future posts. So I can go to there when I need something and I can grab it. There's another one I posted yesterday. And And you've probably been seeing this lady, Carol Hips, I think is her name. She's been doing a lot of training lately. And that's a pretty great before and after, right? And here's another one with some details on it, right? So anyway, these are some great things that you can do by creating just a little group. You can call it Future Posts or My Posts or whatever you want it to be, and then you can just store things in there as a library for making 3 posts a day. And then when you've posted it, you can delete it, or you can maybe like your own post that's in your group. That way you know, or put in the comments. It's just your group. Put in the comment, posted on, and the date. That way you'll know really easily the last time you posted that on your Facebook wall. So, and you're not going to share it from your wall to it. You're going to repost. But that gives you the data, the verbiage, and it gives you the photo. So it looks like we might have a couple of questions here. So how do you save it to your group private message? Okay, well, let me show you how that works. So let's go, I'm going to go back here. Oop, I probably got to share my screen. This is, we're taking the time to do this, even though it's cutting into our productivity time, because if you're stuck and not doing it, the confused mind does nothing. So you're not going to go anywhere. Morning, y'all. More coffee, right? So that was just a post there. Let's figure out. So this is interesting. Donnie Alvarenga, in case you're wondering, not even a storm, not even the largest storm to hit Florida could tear this thing down. So this is just a fun little interesting post that might get, I would have maybe asked, why do you think it's still standing? Right, because of the shape of the building. It might be because it looks like it's still in construction. I don't know, right? And so if I wanted to save that one, I'm going to go here to share, right? Share to a page, and then I'm going to go to share in a group. I'm going to type in future. I found it, and I hit post. Cool. Now it's saved there. Couple clicks. Now it's there. Now, I didn't start this page. I started it with another health coach. But if I started it, it's a little bit quicker to get to it. Now I go down here. Let's see if I find another one that I like. Who knows? I'm looking for things that are interesting, or maybe things some other coaches have posted. But yeah, as you're just scrolling through Facebook and you find something interesting, that's when you want to post it on here, right?
So Craig, question.
Yep.
So when you share that into your group, and you put it back out, doesn't it go back to the original person that posted that?
Well, so good question. That's a great question. So now if I were to post this again, I'm going to click on the link, click on the post, and I'm going to right click and save image to my desktop. And then I'm going to copy whatever she posted here. If I like it, I'm going to change it a little bit. But I'm not going to repost or reshare this out. It's just a placeholder. Then I still have to save the image to the desktop, right? Name it something interesting. And then I'm going to copy that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do this right now. So then I'm going to paste this. I'm going to go add a photo. There it is. And in case you were wondering, so I'm going to probably change the wording. This is amazing. Not even the largest storm to hit Florida could tear this thing down. Who knows? Who can guess why? Post below your ideas. And then I'm going to hit post. Make sure it's public. Great. Boom. So there, now that just posted it to my Facebook page. And you can't tell that came from the other health coach because I saved it to my desktop and I reposted it out.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
But see, the having it saved in the group, a lot of times I would see a great before and after picture. So how do I save it? Well, I could take a snapshot of it, but then I've got to retype in all the words. I can't copy and paste from a photo, from a snapshot of my screen on my phone. So I save it to that group, and then I get the verbiage. Like, let's say it's a before and after. And it's a so-and-so story, and they lost 5,000 pounds in 2 seconds, and wow, they can do ballerina twirls on the skyscrapers. Whatever it is, some amazing story. I'm not going to remember that story. And so how am I going to save the photo, and where am I going to save the details about that photo to? Do I create a Word document and I just start posting them there and it just starts to get unruly? All this stuff, when you try to manage it over time, becomes crazy. So I can just share it to the group and it catches everything. Then when I'm ready to post it, I just can grab it, save it to my desktop, and then repost it when it's nice and fresh. I see a lot of you going, like the coin dropped in the slot, like you got the power of setting this up, right? That's awesome. So why don't we have let's take 2 minutes, and you can either make your post for the day, or you can start a conversation. We only have just a couple minutes though. So let's try to get in 2 minutes, at least one post for your day, or start a conversation with somebody, okay? Ready, go. Okay, guys, we're gonna, hopefully you got some stuff done. Now think about this. Even though the work group session is ending, you guys have momentum right now. So if you want to milk that momentum for another 10 minutes, you can. You don't have to leave. You can just, hey, I didn't get my 3 posts in. I didn't get my starting 3 new conversations. I went back into those people that I wanted to connect with and personal message them, are you working on your birthday? Most of the people are going to say, yeah. I'm going to say, do you have anything planned for tonight? But the thing is I'm starting a conversation with them. I'm starting to interact. We haven't talked anything about health. Maybe they say, no, I've taken the day off. Well, what's the next question? Where are you going? What are you doing? All right, just be normal. Just Try to pretend like you're a normal human being trying to interact with other normal human beings.
Yeah, don't be like Craig.
Let it go where it goes. Rita, go ahead.
I got a question on doing the Facebook future post. It has to be, you could do it private, right? Or secret. What
You create your group and make it a secret closed group.
secret closed group? Okay.
Or, you know, I don't know what the terminology is, but there's going to be only one member of that group, and it's going to be you.
Me. Yeah.
Right? And that's just a storage container for your stuff.
Super. Thank you, Craig.
My pleasure. Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. This coming Saturday is going to be the next boot camp. Of course, it is 7 a.m. on Saturday, and we are going to be talking about doing assessments, interviewing people to get to know them better. That's what a well-being assessment is. What's not, or a health assessment. You're assessing where they are. Now, if you say, "Hey, I'd like to get together and do an assessment on you so we can be friends," that's weird, right? Who does that? Hey, let's get together and connect and get updated on our friendship, or on our life. I haven't talked to you a while. Let's connect. Let's have coffee. You know, and then as you're talking, it may say you may develop. You may go into a well-being assessment, but it just depends on where the relationship is and what happened when you were reconnecting and talking with them. You may go and meet with them once or twice for coffee, and that first meeting may turn into another meeting where you do a health assessment or well-being assessment. Don't get there on that first meeting with somebody you haven't talked to in 10 years, and you pull out the well-being assessment and you start taking notes on them. That's very weird. Right? Hey, I'd just like to catch up. So, when was the last time you were, so just make sure you set it up. You might have 2 or 3 meetings with people. You're going to actually build relationships with people, by the way. That's what we do here. So, anyway, I just want to give you some perspective. Let these things move at the pace they move at. Right? You can't hurry friendships. They just go at the pace they go at. Any closing words there, Mr. Drollinger?
No, I think we just need to work. You know, you look at the things that you've taken away from today, and what are the action steps you're doing? Because if you're just coming to this and saying, "Okay, I did my hour of work today," or whatever, then it's not really productive. So thinking about, okay, the things that you learned today and taking those away from today's lesson and really applying them in your business.
I want to show you one thing here. So here's just a couple of crazy things. It's just happened since we've been doing this. This is a training, but they don't know it's a training because I'm still relating to them. But I'm getting responses from people now. So check this out, folks. So if I go to messenger.com, that might be a huge tip right there. That one's worth its weight in gold. People are replying. So, are you working on your birthday? Are you working on your birthday? Well, Karen Alexander said, "No, I'm out enjoying the sun." Right? And she's a nurse, studied nursing at Dutchess Community College. Now, I don't even know who this person is. Oh my goodness, I'm such a loser. No, I'm not. I just have a lot of friends. So I wonder who, so I'm looking at who we have that are common in friends, and I don't recognize anybody there. So what is she into? So I'm kind of getting it. You can't do this unless you have Facebook. How can I find out what this person's into? I didn't know how I know her. Right? So I might, where does she live? Well, let's figure that out. Places she's lived. She lives in Norwalk, Connecticut. I didn't really know that is, but I think it's on the East Coast. Right? So let me go to another person here. This person, Eugene. I took a half day off yesterday, so I went to Skamania Lodge for lunch with my wife and kids. So now I can ask another question. What'd you eat? Or are you taking a half day off today? Or are you working on your birthday? He says yes. So he just took a half day off yesterday. So I have to think about that before I reply, because I may come up with a thing. Too bad you have to work on your birthday. If you're a health coach, you can take the whole week off. You know, I may not say that, but.
Hey, Craig.
Christina!
Hey, sorry, I'm driving. Anyway, I just wanted to say something that you've really pushed on me is I really struggled with this, having conversations with people. And the thing is you just have to be, like you've been saying, authentically curious, just genuinely curious about another person's life and what they do and what they like. And, you know, like scrapbooking. If I don't like scrapbooking, that doesn't mean that I shouldn't or couldn't be interested in learning something new about another human being. Hey, what do you like about it? What's your favorite part about it? You know, what's your favorite project that you've ever done? You know, kind of thing, and just being genuinely curious about somebody else.
Well, here's another thing. The question that came to my mind. If you're scrapbooking, when was the last time, or do you get together with girlfriends and do scrapbooking?
Yeah. Do you do it in a group? Is it something you do by yourself, or do you go out and do it somewhere? You know?
They say, no, I do it by myself. Why? Or I do it with groups. Why? Or when was the last time you did it? You know, do you go away on a weekend retreat, or do you just do it at your house? I mean, yeah. I don't know any of these answers. Right?
Right, because you're not into scrapbooking.
But I'm in community, and I'm into getting to other people that are like-minded. Now, I would go on a bike ride.
Scrapbooking. He knows he is.
Yeah, I know. That's
yeah,
right.
It's a secret. It's a secret.
Now, here's one more. So I'm going to show you where, because I know I moved too fast for many of you based upon the questions you're asking. And for secondary, thank you for asking the question again. Because if you're lost and you don't know where to find the archives, you'll never find it unless you ask. So whoever, I'm going to just point you out. Who was it? Randy Karchner, right? You got confused as to where they are. Thank you for asking the question, right? Here we go. I'm about to tell you where the archives are. Pay attention. Ready? We're going to go slow. We're going to go as fast as we can go, but as slow as we need to. Okay, so there's a Facebook group, and you won't find it, first of all, if you're not a member in it. So let me make sure Randy, okay, whoop, come on. Is it Karchner?
Kartchner.
Kartchner. You know what, Randy? I might not be a friend of yours on Facebook, so I couldn't add you to the group.
My bad. You'll get a
But
Facebook.
that's okay. Let me go through here, and I'm going to search to see if you're in here. R-A-N-D-Y. Search. You are. You were in there. You were added by Brian Drollinger. Who the heck is that guy? So you are in the group, right? But we're not friends. But it's okay. I'm not necessarily friends with a lot of other health coaches. I mean, I'm friends with lots of health coaches, but I'm trying to be less friends because I'm getting close to my 5,000 limit, which I thought I would never do. Anyway, the good news is you're in the group.
Okay.
Not the group, you'll never find what I'm about to tell you, right? So you're going to go look. You're going to go look for your over here under groups, and you're going to search. You're going to look for a group that says boot camp, right? Boot camp work group with practice. Or you can simply click on this in the chat window. Right? That's going to take you right there. You might want to bookmark that. You might want to save it, something like that, right? Okay, so now you're in the group.
Awesome.
The pin.
How do you make that a favorite, Craig? How do you?
Oh, that's a great question. That sounds like Grandpa Google will help you that.
Oh, good. I got Grandpa Google. Okay, I did it. I can't remember how.
Yep, and I can't remember. Grandpa doesn't forget anything.
Oh, okay, Grandpa Google. Got
So
it.
you're going to click this very first link here, archives, right? And then it's going to take you to all the health assessment is there, week 1, week 2. As soon as this meeting's over, I'm going to post the link to the YouTube for this particular work group session. And then next week, guess what's going to happen? There's going to be another one down here. Whoop, gotta click on edit. And then I'm going to go I know you guys know what's next, right? It's week THREE. Week number 3, and it's going to be assessments. And I'm going to have a bunch of stuff there for next week.
Well, I just have a list that says Grandpa Google questions to ask.
Nice.
So I'm
Nice.
adding to my list because
Yeah.
I'll have to take time to do that.
That is a smart list to have. I have things that I'm curious about all the time, but when I'm curious about them, I'm not in front of Google. So keeping a little track of that and then going through, you have your Grandpa Google snuggle time, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, you guys, you're becoming extremely powerful as you're building these systems to get past that roadblock where you go, stuck, can't go any further. You guys are learning to climb that wall. You're doing awesome. Okay, you guys, we'll see you next time. You have to have at least one friend to create a secret group. Okay, so Google on that one. Lauren or Pat, whoever said that. I'm not sure. I was able to do it. So add somebody. Add Troy. All right, guys. See you later. Take care.